invocation, please.
Let us pray. Dear God, thank you for this day and thank you for our beautiful county. Thank you for your amazing power and work in our lives. Thank you for your goodness and for your blessings over us. Thank you you're able to bring hope through even the toughest of times. Strengthen us for your purposes. Thank you for your great love and care. Thank you for your mercy and grace. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes from January 16th.
So moved.
Second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Treasurer's report. Treasurer Griffin.
Good morning. Following payments were reported to the Treasurer's Office. Accounts payable with a total of $1,089,801.70. Payroll was $375,550.18. 911 account had 13 checks and 5 EFTs, totaling $27,016.51. And finally, Liquid Fuels Act 89 account had an EFT for $48 even.
Okay, thank you. Will someone make a motion to pay our bills?
So moved.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid.
Treasurer's report for the period beginning 1/15 and running through 1/28/2025. General account had a starting balance of $1,138,809.32. Total debits for the period were $2,239,405.73, giving us an ending balance for the period of $1,912,863.17. And finally, capital reserve ends the period with $9,949,826.23.
Any questions for Diane? Not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Diane. Moving down through meetings and events. We give a list of the meetings and events to the chief clerk. I just want to point out that CCAP, that's the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, is meeting with legislators and the governor's team. The county commissioners in Pennsylvania have voted 3 priorities in 2025 to lobby for. One is 911 surcharge reauthorization. That reauthorization expires at the end of 2025, and 911 grants are not sufficient to continue modernizing 911 services throughout Pennsylvania, so counties need more revenue from the state. Second priority county commissioners have voted on is county mental health-based funding increase. Counties are responsible for MHMR services in their counties, and we always need more money for that. And finally, some may be personally interested in this, vote by mail reforms. Counties are responsible for elections, and because of confusion with the legislative acts and regulations, something needs to be done. And so county commissioners are pushing for reforms for the vote by mail legislation. That's all I have to report. Commissioner Weiss.
I attended the night the races there with the United Way. It turned out really well. They are looking for volunteers for the walk as well at where is that? Fish Park.
Correct.
And Kathy has the rest of them.
And Commissioner Coach.
I provided my list to the chief clerk. Also like to welcome Malin Gabrick and Lily Rivera from MCTV here today. Thank you for filming for us.
Okay, thank you. Any public comment? I don't see any, so we'll just move on to our first new business. This is acknowledgement of the Geisinger Nursing School, School of Nursing grant, and by way of introducing this, back in the, I guess it was 2 or 3 years ago, all counties and municipalities, some municipalities and school districts were given funds through the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. This was post-COVID revenues that went to counties. Some counties have decided to keep that internally. Mifflin County decided to distribute about 2/3 of those funds to the community. So we had distributed grants to the YMCA, a loan to the municipal authority and solid waste authority, and there were other nonprofits and municipalities that had received funds. One of those entities that received funds was the School of Nursing for $100,000. And that is what we are here today to acknowledge the Gossing School of Nursing grant for $100,000 that is actually being financed through the initial ARPA money that the counties have received. So, is there anybody from the School of Nursing that want to say something? Yes. You could come up here and
Oh, I know. Oh, okay.
yeah, your people are here, and we'll get a photo in a minute, but,
I just wanted to say thank you very much.
okay, and you are?
My name is Stacy Osborne.
Okay,
I am the Chief Nursing Officer of Geisinger-Rosetown Hospital, but I also have been involved with the School of Nursing. And those funds helped us while we renovated the new building for some infrastructure. And truly simulation has become, part of the curriculum, and that money allowed us to help with that.
okay, so these funds are going to the simulation lab? Is
I believe
that
that's
Yeah.
what we use that for.
Yep, for some new mannequins that have allowed us to really simulate very real life situations in a kind of safe environment before we take them into the hospital and let them try them on real patients. So it's a really cool transition that we've been able to do with them, and we've really been able to expand, and we've about doubled the amount of students that we are able to take in every year, which is huge too.
Commissioners, any other
We're,
questions?
we're glad to have this partnership with you, and it's great for the downtown, great for the school of nursing, drawing in, as you said, more students, doubling
Yeah.
the amount. It's great to have great local people involved too. I know Samantha's a local high school graduate from here, and it's nice to see her in the faculty. Penn State grad too.
It's nice to be here. It's a good place to be.
Okay, if we can, you all for your indulgence. B, request for exoneration of 2024 county per capita taxes. Armagh Township has 3.
So moved.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Request for exoneration of 2024 real estate taxes and relieve Kathy Witzel for collecting these taxes. There was a mobile home that was removed on this parcel in Randall Township, I believe. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. We have an offer for parcel located in Derry Township that's currently in the repository for unsold properties. This part, the offer is $200. It is from the Derry Township supervisors, and they will be eventually raising this condemned improvement on this parcel. I guess that's it. That's what they intend to do. Is there a motion to accept or reject
Motion to accept.
$200?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That $200 is accepted. Reappointment of Scott Peck and Thomas Garber to the Mifflin County Municipal Authority for a 5-year term.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those reappointments are approved. We have a public defender legal services agreement with Karen Muir for the sum of $30,000. She will be providing criminal defense services for the period January through December. This is being funded through our indigent defense grant. Is there a motion to accept or reject the legal services agreement?
Motion to accept.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Derry Township Senior Citizen Renovation, CDBG project agreement with Mid-State Construction. Mr. Fonte is here to explain this.
So this is just moving forward with the Derry Township Senior Center improvements. Our engineer, Deidre Horn, has reviewed all of their insurance and bonding and has assured us that they're all cleared, and so we're ready to move forward with the approval. And then we have a meeting next week with them for a pre-construction meeting, and then after that, I'll come back to you for our notice to proceed.
And what are those improvements, Michael?
Oh, it's they're replacing some flooring in the building. They're cleaning off the exterior and replacing bathrooms, some bathroom facilities.
What's the location of that?
That's the one. It's by the firehouse over in Derry Township, like
Jaegertown.
yeah, near your town. Yeah.
Okay, this is being funded through a CDBG grant.
Yes.
Okay, anything else for Michael? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Michael. Michael will stay up there and tell us what the Fair Housing Equal Opportunity Compliance Monitoring is all about.
Yeah, so that's just to make sure that we're performing all of the necessary requirements for fair housing and equal opportunity. Essentially, Carol and I worked with contact from DCED who requested some information from previous projects and just previous meetings that, provided the proper coverage of our fair housing and equal opportunity requirements.
So the result is 0 findings, 0 concerns, and 3 comments that were identified, which apparently are minor, at least ones I read, which is a good report. Is this done every year? Or how often is the monitoring done? Is it done for every project?
No, it's not done for every project. I believe it is done yearly for certain projects though. Or they just select ones that, they will review. And it's just making sure that we're compliant.
Okay, the fact that there were 0 findings is good news. Anything else on that? There's no, do we have to accept this? Or is this for our information?
I think that's for our information,
Okay,
yes.
well, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess you could stay there. We're gonna go into a short public hearing for CDBG. So can I have a motion to recess the general meeting just for a few minutes?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, we're on recess. Let's convene the CDBG public hearing.
Thank you, Commissioner Coastal. My name is Carol Carney-High. I'm a project coordinator with CDCOG, and I assist in the administration specifically of the CDBG grants that Mifflin County has. So this meeting, there's a sign-up sheet traveling around the room. This meeting is to consider township's requests to, in 2 cases, modify budgets, and in 1 case, revise the budget. So for fiscal year, for the CDBG entitlement grant for fiscal year 2020, Arma Township, at their meeting earlier this month, approved a budget modification to basically abandon the existing grant budget line for demolition of single-family blighted structures and move 100% of that funding into a new project, Milroy South Main Street ADA accessibility ramps and curb cuts. So that would be zeroing out the budget line for demolition, $77,600 $73 and moving all of that into the budget line for completing the South Main Street ADA accessibility efforts. Also, the post office is in this area as well, so there's additional need to provide access to the government building. Also in the fiscal year 2022 budget, Dairy Township, and this is in reference to the senior center project, we had to rebid, and the resulting bid came in higher than the original. So we're asking Dairy Township would like to revise their budget and move part of the budget line for the Yeagertown area road reconstruction into the senior center budget line so that we can complete that project. So the difference between a modification and a revision is that a modification actually initiates a new project and a revision is moving funds internally from one budget line to another. So Yeagertown still will be funded. We're just moving funds over to the senior center so we can complete the project. If we've overestimated our need, we will revise it back into the Yeagertown budget. Then in fiscal year 2023's contract, we have 2 requests for modification. Another one from Arma Township, and that is to again zero out the budget line for demolition of single-family blighted structures and move that $77,695 into a new project. The public trail improvements, it's currently it's a loop trail around the municipal building, but it is uneven and in some places a bit washed out because it's like a small gravel and dirt trail. So so this is a new project, but one like the curb cuts that we've already gone through and checked for eligibility and fundability through CDBG. So that is moving $77,695 into the public trail improvements project for Arma Township. And the final request is for Brown Township budget modification from fiscal year 23 to zero out their single-family owner-occupied housing rehabilitation line and move that $21,134 into a new project, Reedsville Park improvements. And the focus of that effort is to build a new pavilion for public use. So I am open for any questions or concerns or clarifications for these projects.
So the first set you described is 2022 CDBG.
Yes, they're both the entitlement grants for those years.
Okay, just in general, how we're now in 2025, so
Yes.
is there any money left in 2022?
Yes, we have, so CDBG funding is tied to the federal fiscal year. So there's quite a bit of lag time. For example, we will this spring discuss projects that we will request funding for fiscal year 2025. We'll have that process during the spring into the summer, and then the application won't be due until the end of October or the beginning of November. But we have 3 years to spend the funding once it's awarded, and then we can also request for extensions. So in fact, we actually have some funding from fiscal year 2020 that we need to spend this year. So it's a lot of, as you all know, a lot of paperwork and discussions, but yes, we still do have funding for 2022.
Anything else? This is the public hearing, so is there any public comment? you need a motion?
I have certifications for the commissioners to sign to approve the 3 budget modifications and the 1 budget revision. And then we will put together a packet. We also have the certifications from the townships. We'll put together a packet and a letter and send to DCED, if you will have a copy of that as well.
Okay, so then we'll entertain a motion to approve the reallocation of the budget to the projects that were described. Oh, there, thank you, Commissioner, where is that? Let me just read that. Oh, okay. Okay, so we don't need a motion for this, at this session. Okay, anything else under the public hearing? Okay, if not, we'll adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the general session. And the action would be to approve submission of the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget modification and revision certifications to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. So we're in our regular meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. As I said, we are back in our general session. The next item is J, contract to purchase a service agreement with Axon Enterprises for the purchase of a data system to allow transfer of case-related information between the 911 center and public agencies, DA's office and police agencies. Phil, explain this $147,632 contract.
Good morning. I have Josh Pennepacker, who's our new 911 manager in the center. He's going to be taking over these projects that I've had started, so he'll be cleaning up some of my little messes as we move forward. But this project is an information sharing project between the 911 center, local police departments, the state police, and the district attorney's office. This allows us to transfer recordings, video, other data between the agencies as various crimes and incidents are investigated. It gives us a secure method to more efficiently share that information between all of these agencies. It's a 10-year contract, plus or minus a couple months, and we have the ability to pay for that out of 911 funds for that transfer of data.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification, because it does say 128 months, and I see the payment summary is over 10 years to 2034.
Yeah, I think it averages out to be about $11,000 a year contract.
About $12,296.41 for the first year. So, I'm just curious what happens in the next, 10-year contract. Buying technology is a long contract. What happens if all of a sudden we now go to some other technology?
We have the ability to close the contract if this project is no longer funded in our annual budgets as we do that. The vast majority of this is data storage as opposed to any hardware or equipment. But it's
Okay.
management and transfer of that.
Anything for Phil or Josh?
This is, again, funded by 911 funds.
Yes, sir.
Motion to approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Phil. There's also the purchase of a replacement voice logging recorder. This is for $114,458.30. This is also partially funded with FEMA funding.
Yeah, mostly, about 103,000, I think, out of the 114,000. And unfortunately, that's just because of delay in project movement. We missed the original purchase, waiting for grant funds to be approved. Now that grant funds are approved, we've had an increase in the cost that we have to absorb.
So the county will be absorbing about $9,000.
Roughly, yeah. And this is a joint project between about 4 other counties that we're in a larger regional 911 group with. And we're able to take care of some cost sharing and the ability to do larger group purchases because of that.
Okay, any questions for Phil or Josh? Not, we have a motion to approve the purchase.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you, Phil. You might as well stay up there for the next one. This is a Homeland Security Grant for the South Central Mountains Counter Terrorism Task Force.
Yes.
$409,295.
This is a regional grant that's sent down from the Department of Homeland Security through the state to the 8 regions within Pennsylvania. The funds are used for training, planning, administration, and equipment, specifically amongst our 8-county group, which is Bedford, Blair, Fulton, Huntington, Center, Mifflin, Juniata, and Snyder counties. We create a budget based on a Homeland Security risk assessment that we do about 3 years prior. Through the process, we apply for grants to address those threats and risks that we've identified locally, along with what the federal government asks us to target, and then we provide training, grant administration, and equipment to help address those threats across the region.
Phil, it's not distributed equally among all the counties, is it, or is it?
The formula is a per capita formula that's nationwide, X number of dollars per person per locality. But we do group level funding, so it's not an individual county project or an individual agency project. We fund larger regional projects that we identify based on targeted goals that the feds put to us. Then we try to match those up locally. We funded water rescue resources, we fund SWAT teams, we've done cybersecurity training, we've worked with our local hospitals, increasing their capacity to respond to mass casualty incidents, that type of thing.
What about the schools?
We fund training for the schools. Not the funding doesn't go directly to the school, they're not eligible because the funding is only for first responders. But anything that first responders would do in support of schools, such as mass casualties, active shooter threats, that type of thing, we do a ton of training for law enforcement for that.
And this is 100% federally funded.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions for Phil? If not, is there a motion to accept the grant, $409,295, or put it this way, participate in the task force for the grant, $409,295.
So. Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Bill and Josh, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We have to make a minor change or minor purchase related to the Juniata River Trail. This is from our Act 13 funds. That's the Marcellus Shale Open Space Account. This is for $383.76. This is for signage along phase 2 of the trail. Is there a motion?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next on the agenda is the authorization of James Latier, Planning Director, as the new administrator for the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation Engineering and Construction Management System. Our administrator now is in the Commissioner's office, but we're changing this to the Planning Office. Is there a motion to authorize Jim Latier as the ECMS Director?
I make that move.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. I said Director, but I really meant Administrator. Next, we have the authorization of the submission of RDA associated forms relating to the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program. This is the project for the historic courthouse, phase 1. The grant application is $1,652,000. There are various forms that we need to sign to progress with the application. Probably need to eventually pass a resolution, but these are forms that we need to submit to the Office of Management and Budget to receive $1,652,000. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next, we have authorizing the County of Mifflin to enter into settlement agreements pertaining to McKinsey settlement, McKinsey opioid settlement, and sign appropriate papers relating to this. Just as a way of background, People may have seen various settlements from the opioid pharmacies, distributors, manufacturers. McKinsey was a consultant to one of these manufacturers, and they had settled a class action suit. Some municipalities have been offered funds through this settlement. The funds that seem to be put aside for Mifflin County is $11,885.60. And so we have taken actions to receive those funds. That's what this authorization is all about. We haven't received $11,885.60 yet. I don't know when those funds will be received, but we have to go through the paperwork to receive these. So that's what this complicated authorization is. And are there any other questions? Is there a motion?
Motion second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We have a purchase agreement by, if needed, by children and youth. They call. Explain these three to us, please.
Sure. The first one is for Concerned Professional Services out of Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. They provide dependent and delinquent youth with access to behavioral health treatment through foster care and residential services. Their lowest rate is $67.31 per day, and the highest is $339.65 per day. The next one is the Center County Youth Service Bureau in State College. They provide dependent and delinquent youth with access to behavioral health treatment through residential services and independent living programs. Their lowest rate is $84 per day, and the highest is $260 per day. And then the last one is New Life Adolescents in Hillsdale, PA. They provide dependent and delinquent youth with access to behavioral health treatment through residential services, and they only have that one service, so their rate is $416.06 per day.
Okay, Nicole, are these, do we have existing purchase agreements? Are these new, or is any of these, we already dealt with these?
I believe the first two we've dealt with before. The last one, New Life Adolescents, is a new program that we have a child there now. So, but it's a new program, I would assume too. That's why they only have one service so far.
Okay. Anything else on that?
No.
Anything else, Commissioner? Is there a motion to execute the purchase service agreements?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Nicole.
Yep, thank you.
Next, we have physician medication assisted treatment services. This is an agreement with Positive Recovery Solutions for the MAT program in the jail. I think this is a continuation of what we're already doing with medication assisted treatment services. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have youth level of service case management inventory. We have Youth Probation Officer Nick Wolfkill to explain this to us.
Yeah, so this is our annual contract for our youth level of service. This is used by every county in Pennsylvania, and it just helps determine the level of care that the juvenile case is going to need under supervision.
Nick, it says $4. Is that how much this costs? $4?
$4 per time it's used. Yeah.
Okay, just doesn't seem like much.
Nah.
I'm used to seeing a bill for $4.
Yeah. No, that's the way they do their service. It's per use, and each juvenile is required to get reassessed as they're on, but it helps just keep them in the level of service.
Okay, this is to renew for another 12-month period.
Yes.
Any more questions for Nick? Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have public defender software agreement with Courthouse Computer Systems. This is for $14,700. This is paid from our indigent defense grant that we have received last year. So we'd like to move ahead with that. Is there any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have a LexisNexis amendment to add 2 additional licenses. This also relates to the Public Defender's Office. There's an additional $188 because of additional staff. Again, that is paid for through the Indigent Defense Grant received by Mifflin County. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. And finally, V, we have personnel issues. We have promotion of Charity Larson from fiscal assistant to assistant chief clerk, payroll effective January 13th. Promotion of Ayla Allen and Caleb Smith from probation officer 1 to PO 2, effective February 3rd. Hiring of Mark Hauser for part-time CO, February 3rd. Hiring of Michelle McMahon for Children and Youth Office Manager, effective February 3rd. Hiring of Sadie Isett for 911 co-op student, this is effective February 3rd. Hiring of Abigail Adair for probation officer, effective February 3rd. Resignation of Elise Hessick from probation officer, effective February 4th. Resignation of Brady Billick from part-time corrections officer, effective February 15th. And resignation of Angela Shuey from assistant chief clerk payroll clerk, effective February 28th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve these personnel items?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. There is no other business.